It seemed that you guys got the defensive performance that you've been looking for quite some time. Just how frustrating not to be able to really get the offensive side going on that same night.
Well, Percy, great question. I think defensively, I thought we did a good job with the tempo. We did, for the most part, I feel like, we stopped them in terms of obviously points, but we still gave up too many offensive rebounds and too many second chance points. And then offensively, I felt like we did a decent job. It was just our turnovers. We just turned it over too much. We don't have a large margin for error. And so, a couple of those, maybe you take away 5 turnovers and those become 5 3-point shot opportunities. Now we're in a real chance to pick them off. But for the most part, USC is big. We battled. Our early foul trouble caused some problems with our lineups. I think it was a 2-point game. We were up 2 with, late 3 minutes left in the first half, and they just went on a run. And but happy with a lot of the defense, but it can still get better. But I was happy with it.
Hey, and just the performance that you got in the second half, just the difference between the two halves were what?
The difference between, it's. I felt like the game got a little out of hand. Obviously, with when they went on, I think it was, I don't know if it was 17-5 at the end of the first half. The end of the 3 minutes, like we were right there, and so we just go through spurts that hurt us. But our guys fought back. I felt like we put ourselves in position to get it to 8, to get it to 7. We had a couple chances, and that we missed shots. And what you're trying to do is put yourself in position to win. And we were close to getting there and putting pressure on USC, but couldn't get over the hump.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you, Percy.
Lauren, go ahead, Lauren.
Hey, Hop.
Hey, Lauren.
You mentioned that big run for them at the end of the first half. What did you see that kind of allowed them to pull away like that?
I just felt like we went up. We missed a couple of easier shots. They were able to get in transition. Had a couple of turnovers that they were able to get into transition, and it was just the floodgates were open, and we just got to be better. I felt like up until that point we spaced them out good enough. We try to get the Mobleys away from the basket where they had to guard us on the perimeter. And for the most part, we did a decent job. But then that little 3-minute run just hurt us for the end of the last 4 minutes. And had some fight in the second half, but that end was that hurt us.
And then you mentioned, just not being able to really get over the hump in the second half. Was it just the turnovers you felt like was preventing that?
We had some really good looks. I felt we didn't knock them down. We had a chance to cut it to 8, missed a front end of a 1-on-1. Even though it was late, given a chance, only 2 and 3 possessions, 3 or 4 possessions, just needed something good to happen. But the kids kept fighting and kept coming at them, and there was either a turnover or a miss. And we can't have 14 turnovers. It's that's what we've been having, and it's not just the turnovers; it goes to points off turnovers. And it was 17-4 tonight, and that's a big discrepancy. There's the quality of turnover too, and some of ours lead to fast break baskets, which end up being 4-point plays, and you have a few of those, and those aren't good for sure.
All right, thank you.
Chris Fetters, go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Hop. Was just curious in terms of, what was the thought process with going man pretty much the whole game and staying away from the zone?
Well, Chris, we basically we starting in our zone. We're going into match, and so they don't know if we're going to stay in our zone or if we're going to go into match. We felt it was a little bit same as the UCLA game at UCLA. We felt like they've got their size; they're so big that if we had a small lineup in there in the zone, like there's just too many open areas for them to capitalize with the strength of their team. And we felt like if we could be between, mix them up a little bit, scramble their in their minds, confuse them a little bit, that we could have some success. We did for a period of time, but those Mobley brothers are pretty big and pretty talented, and hurt us down there for sure.
Is it, I guess going into that, is it just a situation until you get to the point where you can match length for length, size for size, that there's always going to be some issues there that you're really going to have to struggle with?
Yeah, it is. And, the early foul trouble didn't help that. I thought we were prepared to not get into that. And the too early foul trouble by Nate and Amir, hurt the rotations. We had to go small. And again, we held them to 28 points in the second half. They got 41, but I think they got 17 in the last 3 minutes of the first half. And that just can't happen. Now, that's where the game was, there was some separation. But for the most part, we battled. I felt like the adjustment helped us, but didn't help us enough. And, let them get the twos and we'll get the threes. And we didn't make enough of those either.
Appreciate it, Hop. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Andy Yamashita.
Hey, Hop, thanks for the time.
Yeah, Andy.
So in the past, you've talked about how Quade always wants to get his teammates involved, but on a night like tonight where he turns the ball over 7 times and is shooting efficiently, how does he balance that?
Well, it's just, at the end of the day, it was like, it was like all you want your guys to do is play the right way, right? You make the one more. There was a play that Q made late in the game after Cole had just made a 3 in the corner. He got it right back down, and we passed out to Q. Q had a wide open shot, and he made a great pass to Cole for another wide open shot. Like, even though we didn't make it, it was great basketball. It was sharing, and there's a good rhythm to that. And I felt like, sometimes Q, because he's such a good player, he tries to force it a little bit, and but also teams are designed to stop him. So making that extra pass is huge. And I felt some of his turnovers today he was just trying to do too much. And sometimes that happens, but he's a heck of a player. He's, sometimes you have those games. USC is one of the best defensive teams. I think they're the number 1 defensive team in our league. They're exceptionally long at every possession. Or position. Tajidi's 6'5". Peterson is 6'7". The 7-footers in the paint. That's what they do. And Q's about 6 feet tall. So that poses a lot of problems with their length. But sometimes you have these games. It's all how you bounce back. And, you got to have a short-term memory. And we need Q to be great. And he has the ability to be it. And I know he wants to have a better game and help us win. So we'll be ready for this next one.
Definitely. And then you guys had no free throws in the first half and then immediately go to the line in the second. Was that, a conscious like, hey, this is what we want to do. We want to attack the paint a little more, get to the line?
Well, I think a big part of this is you want to get in the paint for a lot of different reasons. Number 1, you can get to the line. Number 2, it's when teams usually collapse and you can get good 3-point shots. And we felt like we were just passing around the first half and guys were shooting. So we wanted to make it a conscious effort to get into the paint. So we did a better job of that. But when you get in the paint, those guys are tall drinks of water and really good shot blockers. And, so you want to get in there, but you want to go in to go back out so you can get some wide open threes. I felt like the 3-point line was going to be a big part of this game. If we could get, Colorado 12 for 24, Utah 12 for 25, like having those type of games. That's what we felt like we could do, and we just didn't do that tonight.
Awesome. Thanks, Hop.
You're welcome.
Maz Vida, go ahead, Maz.
Yeah. Hey, Hop, you got the early offensive start you wanted, and then there were laps there. I'm just wondering, is the next level for this team the messaging around a complete game from start to finish to get consistent, so to win games?
I didn't hear. I'm sorry. I was losing you a little bit.
Yeah, no, just in terms of a messaging to the team about a complete game, playing a complete game from start to finish, and that creating victories.
Yes, and you know what? You're great question. We just we'll play really good for periods where we have that and a couple substitutions, and next thing there's a breakdown here, a breakdown there, and that's part of the growing process. And for us we don't have a large margin for error, and so we have to be efficient, a lot more efficient We can't afford just unforced turnovers. Those have been a killer for us. But yeah, you're right. The messaging is, okay, we got to have a short-term memory. We got better. What can we learn from this? And it goes back to our DMGB. Doesn't matter, get better. And I try to talk to these guys about keeping that confidence, keep battling, keep fighting, and then keep sharing. And we have great signs. It just needs to be for longer periods of time to beat the top teams in our league for sure.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, last one, James Price.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, James.
Hey, earlier this week, you talked about wanting to limit teams from the three-point line, and USC hit just one tonight. I'm curious what your thoughts were about the defense along the perimeter.
Well, I thought, they were going to try to pound us inside. So the 3-point shot was out for us, but they did outscore us 46-22. I felt like, we have to beat teams. One of our advantages, especially when we go small, is we've got to have that plus from the 3-point line. We talked about the Colorado game. It was, we had made 12, they had made 1. We were fairly even from the foul line. That was a little bit of discrepancy tonight, and then we were only -4 on the rebounds, and tonight we were -17. And so those are 3 big areas for us to be close to be able to win. And so the 3-point line tonight really helped. That was good for us. We just couldn't rebound good enough, and we couldn't make enough shots to beat a team of like USC.